I keep freezing or something.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2025 April MCAP Symposium. Thank you, everyone, for choosing to be part of us today. I can see people joining now. We're just starting right now, so we give a couple, as we normally do, we give a couple of minutes for people to join us fully. Yeah. Thank you, Polly. Hi. Hello. Thank you, Daniel. Can you guys hear me okay? If you can hear me okay, just say yes. Hi, Daniel. Thank you. Yes, good. So clear. Thank you. We decided to do something differently today. We are coming to you live from a studio. So instead of my library or a corner in my room, in my house, so we decided to spice it up a little bit. Thank you, Olabanji. Adediran said okay. Thank you. Yeah, you could tell us where you are joining us from as well. Yeah, thank you, everyone. So we'll do a bit more to welcome people. Right. Yeah, thank you, everyone, joining us. Welcome to MCAP. And for some of you joining us for the first time, MCAP stands for Marketplace Kings and Priests Global Network. So for short, we go for thank you, Polly. We go for MCAP. And yeah, thank you, Polly. Thank you, Surah. Right? Oh, Park Kwesi. Thank you again. Park is our regular. I see him on our events. Thank you joining us. Right? Thank you, everyone. Right? Adewumi. Thank you, Adewumi. Yeah. So while you are here, could you please just put in a line what you intend to take? I know you've seen the title, what we're going to be talking about. We've been out there talking, giving you the background of what we're going to be talking about today. Could you please put it in the chat what you are expecting to take out from this? Samuel Oladapo. Wow, that's Sam. Ayo, thank you for joining all the way from Middle East. Yeah, thank you, Sam. That's Ayo is my childhood friend. So thank you for support. Right, I was saying that could you please put in the chat what you want to take out of this events today? You know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about becoming anti-fragile. We want to talk about how we can leverage setbacks for growth and success. Please just let's tell me what do you, maybe in a phrase or in a statement, what you're anticipating to take out of this meeting today. At least I want to be sure that at the end of the day, I'm able to meet your expectation as much as I could do. Thank you. Yeah, is somebody taking the lead? Okay, I think I see clear. Right, yeah. Who is going to take the lead? What do you want to take? What are you anticipating to take out of this? We have about 1 more minute, then we start. Couple of minutes. Hello? Yeah, thank you. Become more equipped with the tools to become more resilient in the face of adversity. And I like the word resilient, but at the end of the meeting today, we're going to see that I want you to see resilience, being resilient in the light of seeing good, better, and best. Good, better, and best. Resilient is a means to an end. It's not an end in itself. My goal is that you want to wish more you want more than being resilient. And I will talk about that. But thank you for that, which is really good. How to withstand stress or challenges will lead you to, leading to you to actually grow stronger and improve as a result of it. Yeah, that's talking about how to leverage challenges and stress to get better for it. Thank you. Who else? Another, somebody. So that will, I will see that. I will tell you. There is so much chaos and challenges in our workplaces and life in general. How to leverage this to thrive. As a matter of fact, you are right, Pa. You are right. So much. And let me shock you, using the slang that is prevalent in Nigeria. They say, let me shock you. They're not going to get better. We're going to have much chaos, more challenges. One of my goals today is to let us have a different mindset as to how we look at this. Yeah, thank you. I didn't want to say become more equipped with the tools. To be more, I've read that one. Insight and tool sets for myself and circle of influence. Thank you. Yeah, some of this I want to understand what anti-fragile means. I wish it's one of those things I will do today. Okay, without much ado, we are going to go straight into it. Thank you very much. I have one of my colleagues here, Josh, right in the studio. Let's have the slide on. We're gonna go right away. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ayo, for that. Yeah, like I said, today we do this event bi-monthly. Now you could go back to we do this event bi-monthly. The last one we did was in February, and we brought Dr. Ibikunle from New Zealand, and he spoke passionately about vision, purpose, and all the likes. Please go and watch. The good thing is that all our events are on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, watch our past events. I will encourage you to do that. Insightful content. So today, we're going to talk about becoming anti-fragile, how we can leverage setbacks for growth, which are inevitable. They are just nothing you can do about it. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. But I'm going to tell you about somebody I really want. I read the story, Mr. Joe Flom. Can you give me you see one unit in the next slide, please? Yeah, the story of Joe Flom. Many of you might not know him. It's late now, but after this meeting, I want you to go and dig about him, read more about him. He was born into poverty, extreme poverty. His family migrated. He was born into a Jewish family. They migrated from Russia to the US. He was born in Baltimore during the Great Depression. Of course, being part of Jewish, being a Jew, then at that time in the US history, Jewish people were excluded from elites. Anything elite, they were supposed to be doing menial jobs and all the likes. So if you follow history of Jewish people, they're very resilient. They're changing the world for good. So, but then they were excluded from elite professions. And if you find yourself in law like him, he went to Harvard, he graduated, one of the best in his class, in 1948, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. But then when he graduated, being the best from Harvard, nobody wanted to hire him in an elite. And then now law firm is better now. Then law firm is more about elite. It's about family heritage. It's like a dynasty. So it's not for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. But this man from poor background went into law, and when he finished, he could not get a job in top firm. Nobody wanted to hire him, not because he wasn't good. I tell he was one of the best, top graduated best of his set in Harvard. No, nobody, because of, and what are his setbacks? His setbacks include ethnic discrimination. What many of you might be facing that. I've faced that a lot in my life, and I'm still facing it. Trust me. He was born into an economic disadvantage. So nobody in his lineage was a lawyer. So practicing law in the field, nobody wants. So what he could do is that because nobody wanted to hire him, so what Mr. Flom did was to start picking area of law that nobody wanted to do, and that was not popular then. Because that time, capitalism was not that prevalent. So he was just picking what he could do, small thing that nobody wanted to do. So he started practicing law in merger and acquisition, which wasn't popular then. So, and it was not respected. It was for anybody that was not doing well in law. So what happened? The advent of he started doing that for almost 20 years, doing what he could do. What happened is that at the beginning of capitalism, so the need for merger and acquisition became important, became very needed, and nobody was doing it. So Mr. Joe Flom was there and his teams. They started a firm called Skaden. They're still around there. They're global law firm all over. Check them out. So when everybody needed, as merger and acquisition exploded and everybody needed it, so there was nobody to do it better than this man. What can we learn from this man and his team? So Flom and his firm embrace unwanted task, the challenge, the setbacks in the industry. They now, okay, no problem, we take what we have. When the corporate world shifted, like I was saying, a merger and acquisition became central to capitalism, it was already best at it, because when setbacks and challenges were prevailing, it did not cave in. What did he do? It started developing himself, trying to see how can I benefit from my setbacks. So what is the key? So what did he do? One of the things he did is that he turned exclusion into specialization. It turned setbacks into opportunity, and that's one of my goals today. Now, the key message from the story of Flom is that he did not just survive discrimination, and I know many people are here, they have the same pigmentation like me. You need to set yourself up that you are not just surviving discrimination, but you thrive because of it. And that's been you thrive because of it. That was one of the big movie that I love, Men of Honor, by Cuba Goodings Jr., that acted. It was a true life story of the first naval staff, black naval staff in U.S. history. They asked the man in one of the conversations, they said, look, why do you need this thing badly? Why do you need this thing badly? They've done everything to exclude him from the naval school. Go and watch it, Men of Honor. Cuba Goodings Jr. and Robert De Niro acted. Very powerful movie, true life story. He responded to the white guy that was asking him. He said, because they said I cannot have it. That is setback. That is anti-fragility. Now, so the true anti-fragility is not about bouncing back to baseline, but emerging stronger because of adversity. If you go to the next slide, there's I don't know if you've come across this book written by Malcolm Gladwell. It is Outliers. He's written a lot of books. I love his What Dogs Saw. Many wonderful books. Malcolm Gladwell wrote this about Flom, and I want to read it exactly verbatim. He said, for 20 years, he perfected, that is he, Mr. Flom, he perfected his craft at Skadens, that's the name of the firm. Then the world changed, and he was ready. So anytime you are facing challenges, keep developing yourself, because something is going to happen that you will be needed. He did not triumph. Look at him. Mr. Flom did not triumph over adversity. No, that should not be your goal. Instead, what started out as adversity ended up being an opportunity. That was the account of Malcolm Gladwell on it. Another lawyer wrote in his autobiography that, look, it is not that those guys, meaning Flom and his partners, it is not that they were smarter lawyers than anyone else. However, it is that they had a skill that they have been working on for years that was suddenly very valuable. Every time life setbacks put you under pressure, you need to see what can I bring out of it, because when you come out of that, you are better off for it. And that's my goal today. And I'm going to be talking more about how we see some impact from it. The story of this man really resonates well with me, and I've learned a lot, and I want to share that. Let's go. Let's proceed. Now, having said that, what is anti-fragility? Somebody said, I want to know fragility. Now, there is a book written by this Nazim Nicholas Taleb. It's talking about anti-fragility, things that don't break. Very powerful book. One of my friends told me about it, and I started say, wow, this is a book. And it's going to form the basis, the spine of my talk today. Now, according to Taleb, he said anti-fragility is beyond resilience. Now, I think I'm responding to you now, Adewumi. Antifragility is beyond resilience. Resilience is good. If you are already resilient, then you are one step away from being antifragile. Or resilience is the same thing as being robustness anyway. The resilience resists shock and stay the same. The antifragile gets better. When you are resilient, what happens to you is that when you have an impact, you stand, you maintain the same status quo. But antifragility means about when you are under shock, you should be better for it. That is the story of Joe from I was talking about. He was under setback, he was under pressure, being excluded, but it turned out to be better for it. Now, and the truth of the matter is that it doesn't matter. Sometimes many of us focus on I'm the best, I have first class, I do this, I can do all this. It doesn't really matter. You need to see how can I be better for what I have. Now, there are three concepts that this man spoke about. He spoke about fragile, when something is fragile, when something is resilient, and when something is anti-fragile. So when something is fragile, that thing damaged under fragility means being damaged by disorder. When you send a package, they say fragile, meaning handle with care. Meaning if you don't handle with care, that item is going to be damaged. That is fragility. However, resilience, when you say you are unaffected by disorder, maybe economy is crashing because you have so much money, maybe you are one of the richest people of this world, you are just resilient, doesn't mean you are better. Meaning everything that is happening to everybody doesn't affect you. That's being resilient. And then the anti-fragility talks about you benefiting from disorderliness, you benefiting from setbacks, challenges. And we'll see a sample of people that you see. At the end of the day today, I want you to see clear difference between resilient and anti-fragility, because resilience is something we use a lot. I'm resilient, it's good. You can get better. The next level is to be anti-fragile. So from story, it explained through anti-fragility that is not bouncing back to baseline. Resilience means you are not affected, you remain status quo, but emerging stronger because of adversity. That is what it is all about. Yeah, let's go to let's move on. Now, I love this story in the scripture, and many of you that are Christian and read Jesus was in Matthew 7:24-27. One thing I notice about life is that life is wired to have setbacks. That is the way life is wired, to have setbacks. Setbacks are not failures. They are necessary part of life. Jesus told us a story about two people, wonderful people, that decided to build. One decided to build on the rock, and the other one decided to build on the sand. Now, this is it. This is where life is done. It doesn't matter your choices, your decision in life. The issue of life will come to everybody alike. If you read this place I was talking about in Matthew chapter 7, the Bible says when the storm came down, when the rain came down, the point is when, not if. You see, life is designed to bring issues, setback, disappointment our way. It is a matter of when, not if. Now, what happens is what decision you have made. When this story tells me so much that you have no control over what the life brings about you. It's what you have control about is how you are prepared for it. So it is not if adversity comes, but how you are built to face it. And that's what our anti-fragility is talking about. How can you build yourself so that when adversity comes, you are better for it? So Flom did not avoid the storm. He couldn't do anything about discrimination, about exclusion. What did he do? He built differently because of it. He changed his approach because of it. So Ryan Holiday, in his book, one of his book, read the book. It's a very good book. The book is titled "The Obstacle Is the Way." Ryan Holiday said in that book, he said, "Failure shows us the way by showing us what isn't the way." Very wonderful book. You can put it up Bible. Obstacle is the way. Written by this one. He's written a lot of books. He said, failure shows us the way by showing us what is not the way. And that's what setbacks should do for you. And that's one of my goals today. So, having established that, let's move on. We now know that life is built to throw things at us. There's nothing you can do about that. They will hate you for no cause at work. When you are due for promotion, they decide not to give it to you for a reason that you cannot control. You have done well. You have done well for the interview. Nobody is giving you. I started my company recently. in the last 6 months, I've seen so many things that I'm talking about. I say, wow, you know, you did all the best work for the clients. You help them to decide where they go, and they go behind you and give the work to another person. What are you going to do? I can sit down and suck it up and be, no, I ask myself, what can I learn from this? Speak with my friend, my colleague, my mentor. This is what I'm saying. I help clients to identify the problems. Once they understand the problem, instead of me and with the hope that they're going to come back to me and give me the word, they just take the problem that I've given them the clarity. They will now refine their problem and give it to somebody else to do. And that's not fair. But again, that's life. Now I'm already changing my strategy. How can I make the most out of this? And one of these clients called me and he said, oh, this. I said, come on, guys, wait 1 minute. wait, enemy. I have done a lot of things, but for now, if you want me, I know you want. Why don't you engage me on as needed basis? I'm learning from it. I'm going to engage me on as needed basis instead of you just using my brain and you go ahead. And yeah, we start and that's it. What am I trying to say? When challenges come, you say, what can I learn from this and build a new system to benefit from it? Yeah, that's just that one. Thank you very much. You know, okay. Now let's go on to from and what I noticed when I studied the story of Flom very well, I noticed that this is actually our story. This is us. And I want to encourage you, if you have here, you have a pen here. I believe that we all experience exclusions, missed opportunities, and rejections. The question is, do we break, survive, or grow stronger? And I want you to reflect 1 second to 30 to 1 minute as you're here. Where in your journey have you been shut out? And what did you do to force? What did it force you to build? Just reflect. You can write it down. And I will expect you to do some things here. Excuse me. What in your journey up to today have been shut out? I will tell you, I've told you a story before. When I joined the company I was working for, my first week after my onboarding, the project they gave it to me, the project engineer I was supposed to be working with, and I went to the guy and I said, yeah, I was given this project and you are the one working on it. They said you can give me. I new in company, second week, new in the field. And the guy looked at me, he said, but they said you have PhD. And I look at him, I say, yeah, because I have PhD does not mean I can fly a plane. Right? That's it. Because I have PhD does not mean I can do everything. Well, anyway, and I told the guy, no problem. I went back to my desk and I made a vow. And I tell you, true life story, that I will exceed in this profession, that this guy will take order from me. And I made a vow that in this company, I will make sure that one year is like 3 years in terms of experience. I'll tell you the truth. 6 years in the company, I became exactly what I said. This guy had to be one of the people I was supporting. I became ideal. I became discipline lead in the area I was asking him question on. And this guy had been in the company and in the industry. I came from academia about 6 years before me. Trust me, I became EDL over this guy. And to become EDL in the company I was working for, you are talking about 12 to 15 years experience. I was only there barely 6 years. I went above people that I met there to become EDL, meaning engineering discipline lead for that area. Because that setback was supposed to break me, but instead of it breaking me, I built something out of it. I built not only resilience, I profited from the setbacks. That is antifragility. That was supposed to break my spirit. A new guy, and that was the only. But then I was better for it. So you know that's antifragility. Turned out to be global leader in what I was ridiculed on, similar to Flaw. Ridicule on, I became global leader, traveling everywhere, and on this basis was what I built my own company. So that is antifragility, right? Now I want you to do that reflection and put it down. What did you build? If you can't answer this, what did you build out of it? Now, let's go to the next slide. I hope we can do more. I really want to. Now, oh, you remember this? Right? Can we all remember this? I know we don't wish this for, but I tell you for fact, there are some companies, there are some organizations, there are some people that wish for COVID. Not because COVID brought out the best out of them. So the pandemic was a massive global stressor. Fragile system broke, and what happened with COVID is that all the fragile system, they broke completely. The resilient system, or people, organization, or robust one, they only just endure. They endure, but anti-fragile system did not just survive, they evolve, they improve, and they emerge more prepared for future shocks. That is it. That's what COVID did. You know, it was a great test of antifragility. Many benefits. Now, I know some of my friends, some people, they do work. I went to greet a friend. I said, "Where's your wife?" They said, "Oh, she's working. She starts work at 5 o'clock." I said, "Ah." Oh, she said, because she works in another province. Oh, I see. I said, that is benefit of COVID. And I know when it was, I know people working for 3 organizations because everybody was working from home. Life has not remained the same. That is benefit of COVID. Now, next slide. So, having said this is what my summary of what happened in COVID. Like I was trying to say. For COVID, fragile broke, resilient endure, and antifragile grew. For example, people that have rigid office jobs, they collapse. But remote ready firm that already, they've not started remote work, but they were able to transition quickly. However, I know some universities, some institutions, they have asynchronous and hybrid model of teaching. They thrive. They make so much money when the brick and mortar institutions were struggling because they were anti-fragile. You know, outdated retail shop, we know how many shops that shut down. Big Boss adapted slowly, and e-commerce and local delivery surge under antifragility. Recently now, it's one of the biggest retail shop in Canada now that just, what's the name, Austin Bay. Austin Bay, since one of the oldest retail shops, just closed down now because the threats of Temu, the threat of Amazon and all the likes. And that is what happens when you are fragile. You break down. But if you're anti-fragile, you get better from stress. But Austin Base could not. They have to break. Now, having said that, now let's take example of some organizations. Now, I'm going somewhere. Let's look at some organization on the next slide that actually made the best out of COVID. I'm still talking about antifragility. Shopify, many of you know Shopify, and I'm going to talk about it in terms of work and productivity. What happened? Shopify went fully remote in 2020. Digital by default. That is antifragility in motion. What happened? Innovation came, and they retaught office culture, scale asynchronous work. What was the impact on Shopify? Revenue doubled in 2020 to 2.9 billion. That is antifragility. But if they remain resilient or robust, they will just be doing what they are doing. Another one is Pfizer. You might not like Pfizer and BioNTech. You know, there were so many things said about them, negative things. Anyway, I'm not here to say against or in support of that. There were so many conspiracy theories. No, what happened? They deliver first mRNA COVID vaccine in record time. It takes, from what I gather, it takes years to develop one vaccine successfully. A rigid or fragile, we just say, oh, it can't be done. But Pfizer and these guys step in. In record time, they provided vaccine to this problem. They validated a flexible biotech platform. Now, beyond making money on COVID vaccine, research showed that they've created platform to deal with potential pandemic in future. What was that impact for Pfizer? They earned $100 billion in vaccine revenue between 2021 and 2022 alone. And I love what their CEO said. He said, we built a vaccine platform for decades, but it took COVID to prove its power. That is, they've been building this platform for decades, but it took setback in form of COVID to prove it. And Shopify CEO said something. He said, COVID forced us to rewrite the rule book. It worked. That is antifragility. That is when challenges, when setback, exclusion force you to rewrite the rule book and get better for it. Next one. That is antifragility. I have another company here, Duolingo. Many of you know Duolingo is a language learning app. What happened? Because everybody was at home, nobody could go anywhere, people were bored and everything. So, such as a self-learning boom, people now realize that we can start learning. You know, everybody was doing a lot of learning. What can we learn? People started learning languages, and that's what brought Duolingo to limelight. So what did they do? They were working on the gamify projects, and they just scaled their gamify and adaptive into an adaptive learning platform. They went into, they did their initial public offer in 2021, during when we still have the issue of COVID, and valuation hits 6.5 billion, just an app for learning languages, because somebody became anti-fragile in COVID. And what did the CEO, the founder, say? He said, COVID taught people they could learn anything, anywhere. So Duolingo positioned itself. Oh, we know this. Zoom, Sky, who was talking about Zoom? Zoom was actually in trouble water before COVID. In trouble water. So, but what happened? Because of setback, because of COVID and challenges, world was grounded, Zoom became critical for remote work. School and events, everything started online. School, my children were doing school online, school meetings. This led to rapid future growth. Breakout rooms, webinar, virtual, they started becoming innovative just to meet the demand. What happened? The impact of that, revenue jumped from $623 million in 2019, just before COVID, to $4 billion during COVID. That is antifragility. They became better because of setbacks. Zoom was not just a product. That was from the CEO. He said it became infrastructure for connection. Right? That is antifragility. That is not resilience. Resilience is people, their company that are still existing despite COVID. Like my company I was working for, they did a lot of things. We see they're fine. That's not, we're not probably better. Maybe they were, but we're talking of getting the best out of difficult situation. And I'm going to talk about what I'm doing is preparing. I'm talking about how to actually do this. Next slide, please. Now, I don't know if you come across this guy. This is individual, Asai Bloom. He wrote a lot about the 5 types of words. He has a podcast called the Curiosity Chronicle. What happened? When the COVID started, he left private equity and built a personal brand during lockdown. It was just in his house. What was it? It started turning insight into business via writing and education. Now running multi 7-figure ventures. Now, what did he say? He said COVID was a reset button. I doubled down on curiosity and I came out stronger. And that is what I want you to see. I want you to change after this thing. Change the quote from Sai Bloom. Remove COVID in this quote I'm showing you. Remove it whatever that you are facing. Maybe you are facing rejection now. Say rejection. This disappointment is going to be a reset button for me. Put that thing back on, Josh. I want people to take note of that. Change it. Say, look, whatever disappointment, maybe say, call it whatever it is, maybe rejection. Say, this rejection is going to be a reset button for me. I'm going to double down on curiosity and came out stronger. That was the mindset. And that is anti-fragility. That is I want you to learn how to learn new skills, shift their career, and prioritize well-being. That's what this guy did. Discomfort led to reflection, reinvention, and resilience. No, when you see discomfort, please let it lead to reflection. I tell people there's what we call victimhood, victim mentality. When something happened to you, I think I don't know who said when something happened to you, things don't happen to you, see it as they happen for you. Now, when you are going through something, I'm going through this thing is happening to me. No, it's happening for me. When you change that mindset, how can I benefit from this? Because it is happening for me. That sack, that being laid off is happening for me, not to me. That disappointment is happening for me, not to me. Does that make sense? It's a mindset. Now, let's go deeper into today's thing. Right? Now, yes. So, lesson learned so far. What have we learned so far? One, never stop learning because life never stops teaching. Now, challenges pressure. Have you noticed that the most precious things in the world, they must come out of pressure? Diamond. Diamond is a stone on that came as a result of intense pressure. Have you seen gold? Gold comes out of fire to become gold. Everybody's chasing it. So, and one of the oil, I say olive oil is very precious. So if you see olive oil, it comes under pressure. You see, we love orange juice against orange for some people. It comes out of pressure. To get the best out of yourself, you need to appreciate pressure, stress, a little bit of stress. It's a mind shift. It's a mind shift. So never stop learning. Everything that comes to you, ask yourself, what can I learn from here? Next slide. Now, every time you come on my presentation, you will see this slide, because this slide means every time I look at it, this image, it talks about something I cannot. It's so insightful. Now, the next, I'm going to be talking about strategy to build anti-fragile life. And the first thing you need to do is, first things first, is to start with a change of mindset. Everything I've been speaking about since is just to prepare you to talk. It's just to talk about the need to change your mindset about setbacks, about challenges, about difficulty and problems, about when people treat you badly. No, I want you to change your mindset. Somebody says something that when people are treating you badly, or when situation is treating you badly, see that problem, see that people as a sandpaper. Many of you know sandpaper. You know, when you use sandpaper to smoothen a wood surface or any surface, in the process of doing the sanding, the surface being sanded is going to be scratched rough way. But at the end of the process, the surface is come out smoother. But what happened to the sandpaper is going to be worn out. That is a mindset. Anytime you face challenges, people are treating you badly, see them as sandpaper. What they are doing is that they are going to worn out in the process, and you are going to come out shiner and better. It's a mindset. The story I told you that it's my second week in my former company, the guy was a sandpaper, and he helped me to become the better version of myself, to the point that I became EDL over him. Do you understand that? That is it. Now, the first thing to become anti-fragile is to reframe adversity. Like, you have a mindset that sees positive out of adversity. When you go through something in life, when you see a challenge, you step back and ask yourself, what could this challenge unlock? It's just about mindset. What can I get out of this challenge? Heal yourself from victimhood mentality, that this is happening to me rather than it is happening for me. Instead of asking, why me? Ask, what hidden opportunity might be here for me? What can I gain from this situation? This thing that this person told me, how can I rehearse to read for my betterment? Like Joe Flom that I spoke about, who was rejected by elite firms, he built experts in corporate takeover and became a legend. Right mindset, that is what I want you to have. If I stop this podcast on this note, I have done well. If I stop it right here, I have done well. Right mindset. Rejection can be redirection towards your edge. A rejection can be redirection towards where you need to be. Right? I tell you, when I moved to Canada, I was in academia in the UK lecturing. When we were relocating to Canada about 8 years ago, I wanted to go to academia in North America. I did everything to go into academia, but many of you that we know, academia in North America is a closed system. It's like a court system. And I realized that and they were offering me to come and do postdoc. I said, no, I have 5 years lecturing experience. I have PhD already. I can't go back. In the UK, I will have, if I started a lecturing, I was handling full course, first year into my PhD. So I was actually going to say, because I love teaching, lecturing, because my goal, I wanted to be a professor. And I said, okay, I will take the job of postdoc. And I spoke to some of my friends, and they told me, in fact, the guy invited me to U of A. He said, come to the office of the postdoc. Some people have been there for 5 years, 7 years, 8, maybe not 8 years. They've been doing postdoc. And every time there's a faculty position, their supervisor will go behind them and give another person. Frustrated souls. Wickedness. And I told, and if the pay is ridiculous, I look at myself. I have 3 children. I look at I spend all my life in education and studying. I'll be collecting 40,000. No. Then Stantec came calling. I joined Stantec. I'm telling you today, I do ask myself, why was what was it that I was thinking that I wanted to go into academia? Because the impact I'm making now, the vision I have, I began to see my vision. I started my own company now, doing well what I wanted to do, impacting my generation. I'm not saying that everybody has their vision. And I still love lecturing. See what I'm doing. I'm still using my talent. And I told people, I'm going to retire a professor, a better professor, because I'm going to come with industry experience and academic experience. My student will be better for it. Right? So that is, if you see challenge and say, what is in this thing for me? Rather than seeing it that, oh, maybe see things that this thing is working for me, not this thing, not against me. It's a mindset. Antifragility is not about avoiding stress or chaos. It's about getting stronger because of it. Small changes now can build a life that thrives under pressure. That's the mindset. The first thing is that, and in the Bible, Proverbs 23:7, the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. If you think that when you are going through challenges, it's for your good, and want to say, what can I better? It's better for you. And if you think, well, I am doomed, you're doomed. God cannot help you. Nobody can help you. The first thing you need to do to become anti-fragile is to reframe adversity. Like the story I told you when the guy told me that oh, but they say you are PhD. I reframe it. It's an adversity. We work together. In fact, we work together. And let me tell you a cool story. When I was leaving the company, his manager came to me. The manager of this guy came to me that, can I speak for this guy to replace me as EDL? I'm telling you, it's a true life story. His manager came to me. And you know what? I'm telling you the fact. And I told the manager, do you know I had already spoken about him? I have already. Because when I told my own manager that I'm going to leave, and he said, what's going to happen to your role? I said, yeah, but I know somebody that can take on the role. And I made mention of this guy's name. A day after, his manager came to me. He could not even come to me. His manager came to me that, look, can you, what do you think? And I said, perfect. That, you know, I've actually spoke about him to take over. Right? That is antifragility. I reframe. You are not bitter. I'm not bitter. We work together. I met him a couple of times. We met at conferences. We sit. In fact, currently there is I'm part of an organization, National Association of Trenchless Technology in North America. I'm a part of a committee. We're going to be working together on that committee. He does it. I reframe. I don't see him as enemy, but he has pushed me to get the best out of myself. Right? When you see that partner, that boss, just see what can I become from here. It's a mindset. Now let's go ahead. It's a mindset. And strategy to build anti-fragile. And we're going again. I want you to write it down. Add LD stress to your life. And you want to build your body and mind up for difficult days. The problem is that we are all a combined entity. We have soul, spirit, and body. What breaks down sometimes is the mind. There's a common saying that when you want to do something difficult, they say, do you have mind for this? Or sometimes we say, oh, this guy does not have mind. What we are saying is that he has not built himself to handle difficult things. One of the ways to become anti-fragile is that because life is going to throw things at you, you must have built your body to be able to withstand stress. Because and there's a scripture in the Bible. The Bible said, if you fail in the days of adversity, your strength is little. Because the day of adversity will come. You need to build your body, your mind, to be able to withstand stress. It is healthy. And when people say do exercise, go to gym, we just see, but it's part of the process of being anti-fragile. Because if you have already built a mind, a body that is healthy, when stress comes, you are not going to go into depression. You are not going to have high blood pressure. Because sometimes when issue of life come to us, we really want to fight, but we don't have body to fight. We don't have healthy body to fight. And this sounds like, what is this guy talking about? The way you treat your body, the what you put in your body talks about what the vision you have about your life. Some years back, I studied top 10 CEO of the world, and I noticed that none of them is obese. Read all of them, check all of them. None of them is obese. They are so fit physically. And I said, why is that? And I came across this book written by Tim Ferriss, The Tools of the Titans. It's a big book. You can read it, Tools of Titans. And what he did was he just similar to what this guy, the guy that wrote the diary, that guy that does this diary of the CEO, the guy based in the UK. Now, what Tim Ferriss did was that he interviewed top performer, top CEO, top sport athletes, people that are doing things in the world, and he was trying to find patterns in their life. One of the things he found consistent to all of them, I think one of the people was this lawn tennis champion, Serena Williams, and all of them, Andy Murray, all of them. So in that interview, he found something consistent, the way they treat their body. They intentionally introduce healthy stress into their body. They fast a lot. It's amazing. They fast a lot. They have regime of fasting, cold shower, lifting weights, running, and everything. And that's it. When issue of life come, I cannot emphasize it. You have a body to withstand it. Does that make sense to somebody? You don't smoke. You don't, when they say, I tell people, I say, I don't do something, not because I say it's bad, but I know where I'm going, and I know I need to have a body that when I'm 70, I'm still available to build what I'm working on. You see Trump, you might not like him. Look at his body. Some people are younger than Trump. Some country have a president. You are wondering that what's going on. His body. So you need to build anti-fragile body as well. Thank you, Polly. Your mind. Feed your mind. The Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence, because this is where the issue of life flow. Right? Fasting, exercise, eating well, lifting weights, running, improving your mental, read books. These are body as it's stressful. You know that sit down 24 hours and watch a series of movie. Some people will sit down and say, come, how do you do this? You are killing your body. Because when stress comes, you are done for. Now, second one is build. You can go back and watch this. Build buffers and boundaries and redundancy into your life. Life is unpredictable. Redundancy, and I will talk more about this, like extra time, extra money, extra supply. This gives you a cushion when things go sideways. You need to, for example, if you are planning, I came to this studio. It takes me about 20 minutes to drive here, but I came here way earlier, 1 hour. That is redundancy. Because if anything happened along the line, I can still make it to studio and I won't disappoint my audience. That is it. In your life, in your career, make sure that you build redundancy around you. And one of these redundancy is that start emergency fund, or have an additional way of income. Leave space in your schedule. When you are doing schedule, build contingency plan into it. Have a backup plan. And another way to build redundancy around you is that build a network of supportive people. You are your net worth. Your network is your net worth. I think Sam Adeyemi said that if you are in a feast and you cannot identify people around you that can help you out, then you are in trouble. One of the way you build redundancy or buffer around you is the people you associate yourself with. Somebody said, if you count 5 fools, if there are 5 fools in a room, and they ask you count the number of fools, and you count 5, he said you counted wrongly, because there are 6 fools in that room. The same thing goes around. If you have 5 wise people in a room and you count, there are 6. So surround yourself with people. That's part of buffer. People the Bible says when you fall, when 2 people are in partnership, when one falls, the other one picks him up. That is redundancy. That is redundancy. So, and it is very, very important. what looks like inefficiency when you build result, it doesn't actually sometimes I look like inefficiency, but it's actually a long-time survivor. You are learning multiple skills. That is redundancy. You can do business analysis, you can do data analysis. That is redundancy. I'm an engineer, but I want to do project management. That is redundancy. You are building redundancy into your system. And does that make sense to somebody? You build redundancy. And I'll cite my example. When I was an employee, my team does only one thing. We are conveyance guys, pipeline. But over the year, I developed my skill in other areas like asset management and also in inspection and condition assessment. So at the end, I was a subject matter expert in 3 key areas. And everybody in my office is a specialist in one of them, equally at my level. But I am subject matter in 3 areas. And in consulting, there's what we call utilization or being busy. You have to have your utilization. And never for once throughout my career having issue with utilization. No. Because if A does not bring me job, B will give me job, C will give me job. I wake up in the morning, get to the office, and my plan what I want to do, something else come. I was traveling everywhere for a project because things are coming to me. I built a career that I built a lot of redundancy into my career. And there's something I call skill stacking. I got that thing from habit stacking in Atomic Habits, James Clear. But I changed it to skill stacking. You should be able to stack skills, right? That's one of the ways to build anti-fragile life. Then there's what we call use the barbell strategy. This is a barbell strategy. What it says is that in anywhere you find yourself, make sure that you play it super safe in some areas and take small risk in others. That you don't apply the same approach to everything that come your way. Find places where you say, this one, I'm going all out. Here, I'm going to be conservative. The Bible says wisdom is profitable to direct. That is using barbell strategy. Keep your steady job, for example. Keep your steady job, but build a side hustle. I have one of my mentees in my on this college just come in one day, say, Doctor, I've resigned my job. I say, why? He said, I want to go into IT. I say, have you found a job? He said, there are some promises, there are some interviews. I said, Chideke, sorry, I felt like slapping him. I said, no, for long, he struggled to get another job. That is stupidity. You use barbell. You keep what you have in the process of getting what you are looking for. Does that make sense to somebody? Now, so next slide, please. Another thing is that only trust those with skin in the game. When you are taking advice, take advice from people that have skin in the game. Don't take advice from people who don't care, who don't face real consequence. And I think it was Bishop Oyedepo that said that stop following them that are explaining the promises. Follow them that have obtained the promises. Insightful word from Bishop Oyedepo. When you are, because I'm a big guy in doing mentoring and going for mentor. I have a lot of mentors, everything, but take your advice from people that let he that has the light show the way. That's one of the way to build anti-fragile life, so that you are not wrongly advised. Now, another important strategy to build anti-fragile life is what we call, there's a Latin word we call via negativa or via negativa. You need to practice via negativa. And I will explain what it means to you. Have you not noticed that, for example, when you want to do something, when you want a change, you hard to it. For example, I want to improve my health. You say, oh, let me start doing vitamins. Oh, let me begin to add more vitamins. That is, we think we can do more we can achieve more by doing more. But what this concept says is that sometimes subtraction is golden, meaning creating solution through subtraction. Now, the instance I gave you, I want to improve my health. Let me add vitamins. But I could say, no, I want to improve my health. Let me stop smoking. That is via negativa. Instead of adding more vitamin, I'm removing something that is injurious to me. Okay, instead of I want to improve my health, let me quit drinking. Okay, I want to improve my network. let me remove, or let me add more good friend. No, let me remove bad friend first. That's one of the way to build. And then the number you are seeing, 3 minus 1 is equal to 5, is one of the idea of what's the name of this guy? His name, the Apple guy. Oh my God, the Apple guy, the guy that's the Apple. Somebody help me. Yeah. So what he says is that, and Steve Jobs, thank you, Steve Jobs. He said every time he wants to do something, he starts by removing things that are not necessary, rather than adding more. Your team is not performing well. Oh, let's bring more performance. No. You could say, can we take out the bad elements? That is the concept of practice via negativa. So getting stronger often starts with removing what weakens you. When we want to solve a problem in life, we look for additive solution, and this is a problem. One of the way, cut debt, dish toxic people. You know, I was listening this morning. I was listening to Dr. Miles Monroe. He said, let me warn you, when you discover vision, it has consequences. One of the consequences is that you are going to lose your close friends, some close friends. And that is why some people need, as you grow out in life, some people need to live your life. Some people, some ideas, some habits need to live your life. So less fragility, you have more. You have to reduce the congest yourself of fragility to have strength. Eliminate the vices that make the most of your time. That is how to be anti-fragile, not adding more. Now, another option, another strategy is increase your options. The more choices you have, the more flexible and anti-fragile you become. You know, when I started Avodatech, my company, it's supposed to be an engineering company. I started doing things, and I seen that I wasn't getting traction the way I wanted in my engineering. So I expanded my scope. We won a job with the government of Yukon, with and also at Canada. The first ever project in Yukon area, Avodatech won it. And I look at that project, when I look at 33 people bidded on that, registered to bid, including top 5 companies, KPMG, all of them, big companies. Nice successful bid, and we won it. This is what I want to say. Everybody, that area has to do with health, vulnerability, and climate change. Those are not my area. But what did I do? I created a team of independent consultants to do many things that I don't do. They created options for my company. So while engineering is on the side, this came. And the team I brought, our professor from a university, everybody on that team, everybody has PhD. Recently, I also went into general contracting. I'm an engineer. I went to general contracting. Currently, I work for Amazon Global and Canada wide, because I diversify. I've done a couple of projects for them. Some other projects are coming. That is increasing your option. That is anti-fragility. Rather than me sitting on, oh, I'm an engineer. And even in my engineering, I have 3 areas of specialty. But I created option. Recently, we started doing also training and instruction and training design and delivery. Okay, put a team together, and we're pursuing project in that area. That is it. In the morning, sow your seed. In the afternoon, don't withhold your hand. Create flexibility in your life, in your career, in your business. Save money, learn new skills, build a vast network. When life throws curveball, you will have ways to respond. Multiple service offerings, skill stacking. I was talking about skill stacking, know how to do multiple things. I have rental properties. Some of the things in my house, I can repair it without getting people to do it. I'm not saying you should be foolish. I'm not saying, but that's another thing. But I remember before I did my MBA, and that's one of the reasons I went to do MBA. I know I'm going to start a company. Of course, I'm not going to be doing my books. I want to, but let me understand business world. That is increasing my options. So when I talk to my accountant, I know what he's saying, and I can engage my accountant at a level that will benefit me. The more part you can take, the less fragile you are. Right? That's what happens when you become anti-fragile when you have more options. Next slide. Thank you. I hope you are getting something. Now you are getting something. If you are, say yes, yes. Tell me, put in the chat what you're getting so far. I want to know. I'm not just talking to myself. Right? If we have been, yeah, I know, like, practice via negativa. The less fragile stuff you carry, the stronger you become. One of the takeaway from great redundancy is that what looks like inefficiency is actually long-term survivor. Try things, mess up safely, get better. That is under that. So yeah, oh yes, I'm gaining a lot. Thank you, Tusa. Yeah. Now, still talking about setback. I'm going to introduce this model. It's called grit. It's not there's a book called Grit by Angela Duckworth. This is not that. That is talking about grit as English word. This is just an acronym, GRIT. And it's going to talk about how to set back to strength, how to move from setback to strength. Still talking about becoming anti-fragile. Remember this model? The first letter G is growth mindset. You must have a mindset that things are happening for you, not to you. You have to reframe setbacks and see it in the light, in the positive light. Challenges are learning for learning, and see challenges as a way of opportunities. I've had many people, I've spoken to many people that they started their company because they were laid off. They didn't want to start their company. They were laid off. And there was nobody who was going to hire them. And they say, yeah, what can I need to do something here. So growth mindset, one of the ways to come from setback to strength, to become anti-fragile, is growth mindset. Mindset. Your mindset is there's a book written by James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. It was very small book, right by it. It's very small. You can read it in 1 hour, finish everything. Very old book, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. So the second acronyms to come from setback to strength is R, which is reflection. You need to reflect and learn to reflect. I can, like, when anything happens, take some step back. What can I learn in this? What is this? What is the opportunity looming here? Instead of seeing pain, see gain. And that comes through reflection. And then when you reflect, make sure you adapt. Don't be like there's a story that in the Bible said that somebody, he looks at himself in the mirror and he has forgotten what it looks like. No. Reflection is action word. When you reflect, there must be something you must bring out of it and do. Then after you have reflected and you pick up some learning points, then you go to I, which is initiative. Initiative, meaning you need to take action. Act on the insight you got when you were doing your reflection. I notice our generation, there's no problem in our generation. Our problem, we don't have problem of information. It's the problem of acting. People are not acting on what they learn. So after you need to take step. If it means to you to take like do via negativa, take something out, do it. Speak to people. You need to execute whatever insight you get. The last one, which is the T, tenacity. Like I said, life is wired to throw you curveballs. That is it. I wish I can tell you what is going to happen. Immediately we come out of this place. But whatever it is, stay the course even when it is hard. Tenacity, your ability. That's why the Bible says when you fail in the days of adversity, or when you give up, when you throw in the thrower, he said your strength is small. And no one lay his hand on the plow and looks back, is fit for the kingdom of God. That's what the Bible says. The same thing applies to our life. When this guy told me that, when the guy was ridiculous and told me a second week that they said you're happy, I could have been beaten down and look at myself and say, but I said, no, look, because I have PhD does not mean I can fly a plane. And somebody said a professor is somebody that knows so many things about tiny things. Right? So tenacity, don't give up. I got a news yesterday that was a project I've been working on. I've supported this client for so long. I've done almost free work for them. And there was a project I was, and they called me, we've given it to somebody else. And I said, fine. And I was bitter. But they said, oh, fine. What do you think I can do better next time? And he told me, and I said, fine. And before we ended the conversation, he was talking to me about another project. Yes, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to learn from this. What can I do better for you? And I learned from what I can do better so that next time they're not going to make that decision. Right? Learn from it. Tenacity, don't give up. Next one, grit. Remember, G-R-I-T. G for growth mindset, R for reflection, I for initiative, and T for tenacity. Now, I want to ask you, put in the chat, which letter is your current growth edge? Looking at your life, looking at where you are now, what do you think, which of these letters do you think you need to work on? Yeah, put it in the chat. We are all going to be anti-fragile. Now, you know, okay, I can say for myself, I'm okay with growth mindset. My mind is, or put it. Let's put it in the chat, please. We're almost done. Okay, which letter is your current growth edge? While you are doing that, let's go to the next slide. Now, do you guys know? You know Twitter, which is now S, and you know Slack. Oh, okay, T, initiative, right? Good. Okay. You know, I want you to know, if you don't know Slack, thank you. Oh, somebody said RIT. So that's the acronym, RIT. Okay. In fact, that actually your name starts with R and you are using RIT. Okay, I see. That is, you are not going to forget that. Root. Okay. Do you know the difference between Twitter and Slack? You know, Twitter was born, and you know that both started as a side project or side. They were not the intention. They were like the founder pivoted into these things. So Twitter was born from a side project of Audion, a podcasting platform that pivoted when Apple launched iTunes podcast support. When Apple launched iTunes, these guys saw that where my livelihood is going to be is threatened. Fragility, you are broken because a bigger competition came into the market. But what did he do? He pivoted into Twitter. What everybody knew now, Elon Musk turned to S now. It was not the intention. It was out of being anti-fragile that gave birth to Twitter. What about Slack? Slack was created as an internet tool during the development of an online game called Glitch. The game failed. Actually. The Glitch failed. And the people now said, okay, what can we bring out of the failure? What they brought out was Slack. But the team realized that their communication tool had a real value. Because to build that game, they needed a communication tool. That's what became Slack. Now, what is common to both of them, both Twitter and Slack, is them being anti-fragile. Each company core product grew out of the ashes of something else. Their success came not from the original idea. Twitter was not the original idea. Slack was not the original idea. In fact, I heard that about Coca-Cola as well. I learned the guy was making another concoction and he landed in Coca-Cola. So, but from being agile and spotting unexpected value, every time you look at challenge, every time life throws curveballs at you, and you have a mindset and the courage to look at it intently without being a victim, seeing that this is happening for me, not to me, you will realize unexpected value out of it. You will realize unexpected value out of it. That is what they have. And we have so many people like that. Oprah Williams, Winfrey, she turned her early trauma into empathy and connection. Elon Musk, do you know how many side hustle that Elon Musk had done and failed on, like paper, rockets, cars, so many things? The people that are anti-fragile, they reinvent themselves. Now let's go. I want you to reflect. I want you to do self-reflection. Think of a recent setback. Now, what capacity or opportunity might it be training you to do? Maybe there's something you are going through now, or something that happened to you in the past. Think about it. What capacity or opportunity might it be training you to do? What? Think about it. Think about it. I want you to give it. Just think. And if you want to share, please share with us. You can put it in the chat. What you are going through now, I want you to think. What capacity, what opportunity might this be training me? And that's the kind of mindset when you find yourself, reflect, remember the grit. You already created a mindset that this is not happening to me, it's happening for me. That is the mindset, a winner mentality. You are not a victim until you agree you are a victim. Then reflect. What capacity, what opportunity is here? Once you get it, initiate. And then don't give up. Because it's a life will be, unfortunately, I wish. And another thing, when you are going through something and everything seems to be going on smoothly, you need to take a pause and say, come on, because life is not designed to have everything smooth. There will be some, because the growth happens during pain. Growth happens during pain. Yes, growth happens during pain. There's some, when you have teenagers, they call what we call growth pain. They just, my daughter said, my pains, my joint. The doctor will say it's a growth pain. Now she's taller than me. I remember when she was having those growth pain. She's always saying, Daddy, I'm taller than you. But now she's bragging about it. But I remember when she was growing. So when everything is smooth and there's no pain, trust me, you are not growing. Sometimes you need to intentionally introduce discomfort, stress, healthy stress into your life, into your career. Take on a challenge that you know this is daunting. Take on it. If you are on a job and you are so complacent, everything, change the job for something that is higher. That is how to grow. Now, next slide, please. Final principle. Final principle. Yes. Okay. Is every time you go through anything, make sure you bounce forward, not backward. That's the whole essence of antifragility. Setbacks are feedback loops. When you see setbacks, see them as feedback loops. They are telling you something. The world will not stop throwing curveballs. Your strength is in learning to swing better every time. Antifragility means you expect disorder. Now that's it. Antifragility means you experience disorder. You expect it. You expect. That's why I say if everything is going smoothly, you can bring disorderliness. Healthy one. Change the job, take on the role and a new role. Do a vertical move of career. Go on to that business. Something, come out of your comfort zone. That is when you become antifragile. You create disorder. You come out of your comfort zone and prepare to benefit from it. From John Flom succeeded not despite exclusion, but because of what it forced him to develop. Bounce forward, not backward. Introducing LD stress. Yes, introducing LD stress. That's it. You need to, when everything is comfortable, career, everything is good. See that what can let me unsettle things intentionally. Now, next slide. Thank you. I cannot overemphasize this. You need to act now. Call to action. That's my call to action to you. What's one system, mindset, or habit you will build? What is one system you will build? What is the mindset you will build or habit you will build this week to become more fragile? Antifragile, rather. Antifragile, yes, so thank you. Antifragile means you expect disorder and prepare to benefit from it. Invite accountability. Share it with somebody. Write it down and commit to action. Don't just, all these things you've seen and we are bringing to you from MCAP, it might be free to you, but it's not free to us. It's costing us money. It's costing me time. It's costing my team a lot of time. So, though it's because it's coming for you free, does not mean it's free. What you can do is make sure you take the most out of it. think of a system, what mindset or habit you will build this particular week to become more anti-fragile. Look for accountability partners, share it with them, write down and commit to action. One of the things I always say, and if you've been on my next slide, if you've been on any symposium training and everything, I always bring this slide as well. So another slide I bring. It was Bishop Oyedepo that said that let your library be a reflection of the future you want to attain. That if somebody comes into your library, they should be able to see your vision and the future you are working towards. If you are that, I was talking about Tools of Titans, that's the book, and all these books you are seeing and many more. I took this picture from the book in my library. Read yourself to the future you desire. Read yourself to the future you desire. I invest a lot in books. There's one I just today. If the Amazon does not send anything to me apart from books, read. Some of them are linear read, some of them are consultative reading. So you need to read yourself to the future you desire. And that's the end of this thing. We have 15 minutes for question and answer. And if you have, again, if you can contact MCAP on mcap.info@gmail.com. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Please follow us, comment. Some of you that were here today, go on our LinkedIn and share. Join us and share that you were here. The point is that you want to be your brother's keeper. You want to share the good news that this is what I'm benefiting. And if you want to watch our past events, they are on our YouTube. Share, comment, share with your people. Please do that for us. That's the price you can pay for us, for all we're doing. Share this and bring the word to the people. Right? Thank you. Thank you. So, question and answer time. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, we have 15 minutes to go. I need to get out of this studio by 1 o'clock anyway, 1:05 or something. Yeah, great presentation. Thank you so much, Dr. Benga. Thank you. Those are great books. Dr. Deji Ogunleye, thank you from Nigeria. I'm very, very sure. That's oh, my brother. Thank you. We're in the same university together, the same fellowship. Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I like this one. Antifragility means you expect disorder and prepare to benefit from it. Yeah, put your question here and I will answer them. Yes. Yeah, if you have your question, put your question here. And we have 14 minutes to go. Thank you, sir, for your insights. Thank you so much, madam. Yeah, Josh, you can put some of these comments on the feed so that others can read it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm waiting for question. Yeah, I'm done. If there's something you want me to explain further, you have a personal question, feel free. Or you have an insight, just share it. Right? Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Insightful session. I learned diversification. Okay, thank you, Ibikunle. How can one build redundancy without being jack of all trade and master of none? And do you know, actually, that is actually good. This morning, because I said I was listening to Mans Moro today, and he was talking about the problem is that many people are jack of all trade. Yes. And I think one of these days, when I was talking, I was saying, I'm going to talk about at some point, talk about the power of specialization. Now, I have told some of my mentors that you build your career like a cone, right? And depending on where you are, the cone has a broad base and a pointed edge, like a head of an arrow. You know, you build your career with a broad base. Whatever you are doing, you build it with broad base. As you grow along, you will be streamlining from the broad base. You'll be streamlining and you'll be going up to the edge. It is when you get to the edge here, you become more impactful. That is the way to build career. But one thing I want you to know is that every stage, if you take a cone and you slice it, slide the cone like you slide the top edge, it's going to still be a cone, right? Meaning, even in that tip of that cone, you cut it, which you think, oh, that's my specialty. When you cut it, see a cone. It might be a smaller cone, and it's still going to have a broad. Meaning, even in a lot of things you are creating, you must aim mastery. being impactful. So that is the idea of building your career like a cone. Now, being a jack of all trade, absolutely. You need to now, based on this illustration I was making about cone, is that in that space, you still need to do a lot of things and multiple things, but it's streamlined. The cone, the big cone is cone, you go on. And that's the concept of 2080 rules. And I don't know if you read this book, 10S is easier than 2S by Dan Sullivan. It's talking about that when you build, every time you are in your life, in your career, or everything, you need to identify the 80% and 20% of every stage you are. Even in your 20%, there is also 80% and 20%. Even in that, I don't know whether it's an iteration. You are still mastering something, but make sure that you have options. That's what we are saying. You are still creating options for yourself, even in that narrow space you are building your specialty in. Remember the 2080 rule. Of course, I'm not saying you should just spread yourself thin, but even in that tiny thing, there is some 80% rule that once you develop that, come out of it, create the 20%. When you master your 20%, break it down further, take your 20% of it, and that's how you grow. You need to find out. Of course, I'm not saying you should be able to, you should do everything. And one of the ways you build redundancy is this, without being jack of all trades. I told you about my company. I have a team, like the project I was talking to you about. I don't know anything about that project. My goal is just to provide oversight. But I have team that are specialists. Yes, Pareto principle is called 80-20 rules. That are focusing on that area. But I created that option for myself. Do I need to know what they are doing? That is now you are becoming jack of all trades. But can I provide leadership and environment for them to strive? That is not master of, that is not jack of all trades. Creating options for yourself is meaning that in each option you create, you focus on your strengths. That is its root. You are not jack of all trades. You are in all options you are bringing. Make sure that you focus on your strengths. But every option gives you maybe income. Let's say business. Every option now can give you income from year to year. Most people that are making it in the world, they just wake in the morning and alert is dropping in their distance, but because they've created option. Creating option does not really mean you need to be involved in everything, but you create environment. For example, I have some investments, I have some shares, bond, and all the likes. I don't know how these people run this thing, but I have created options for myself there. But when you become master of knowledge, say, oh, I want to learn how to trade in shares. I want to know how to do trade in bonds. When you start doing that, you are becoming jack of all trades. Does that make sense? Ruth, I want your answer. Does that make sense? Right? Have I answered your question? I will take that as an answer, yes. So I have another question here. People like focus or more like concentration to become subject matter expert. How do you balance that with optionality principle? And exactly what I've actually explained to Ruth, right? Yeah. For you to be, when you are in any area, yeah, leave the question on. When you're in any area, yeah, okay, thank you. Demola is a broad knowledge about important aspects, but mastery in an area. Thank you so much. Now, so, or more concentration. So, how do you balance that art of optionality principle? I told you about myself. In my area of expertise, in my industry, there are so many options in my industry, but I combine three that I know are collaboratory in the sense that when you need, for example, you want to build a pipeline. That's one of the things I do. Is some people, that's all they do. But when you finish building the pipeline, there's another aspect of managing the pipeline. Now, when in the course of managing the pipeline, you need, one of the things you do like an inspection and condition assessment, and also maintenance of the pipeline. That's another area. Now, what I did is that instead of just designing the pipeline for you, I want to understand what goes on downstream and upstream of the pipeline. So And what that has done for me is this. That is not jack of all trades. I'm still within the same space, but I understand what is going on. So when I'm doing my design, when a client come me and say, I want to build this pipeline, I use what we call life cycle approach to do my design, because I understand the life cycle of pipeline. So when I'm telling you something, say, I just want you to build a pipeline from point A to B, I tell my client, I bring value to my client. That's excellent. But have you thought about maintenance? Have you thought about, like, one of the things I do, they bring me on a project to do inspection, condition assessment of very pipeline. And one of the challenges I have is that access issue. You can't get to that pipeline. Now you ask yourself, when this pipeline was being built, the guy that was building it 30, 40 years, was he not thinking that somebody will need to come back here to rehabilitate this pipeline? Now, when I do my design, I think about that and I add value to my design. My design is better for it. I tell my client, the option you want, this is better option. Why? Because long term, you are better off. That is being subject matter expert with option, with value, better. And that sets you apart from others, that some people, all they do is just one thing. And in those three areas, I build special SME. And one of the issue people have is that when you talk about being concentration, is that the problem is not about building. The problem is that they have so much things in their life that they need to do away with to give room for their new ideas. I was talking about practice negativa. So when, instead of being torn apart and say, oh, maybe I don't need to do more, you probably need to take out existing things so that you can create room for the greater good. So it's good to be a subject matter expert. And one of the ways to now balance this optionality principle is to practice negative, via negativa, remove some things that are not necessary so that you can create room to sharpen your skill, right? Broader knowledge is important, but mastery is good. But you can master yourself. I've demonstrated in my career, master in 3 good things. But the reason why it is easier for me is that they are in the same industry. I will say, in fact, I'm talking, I remember, in the US, in the same 4 years, you can graduate with 4 degrees. They don't do that a lot in Canada. They don't do it in Europe. You know what they do? Once you choose all the area in the same area, in the same study area, maybe you want to do finance and you want to do accounting, finance, and business. Because some of your courses on their level 2 are the same. They allow you to use courses that are applicable in one course to transfer it to the other course. So that when you want to have a double degree in, let's say, B-commerce and accounting, every courses that are applicable to both, you don't have to redo it. And that is being SME in multiple places. That's optionality. So what you are doing is that you are leveraging the same knowledge for common good. So when you want to do multiple things, make sure that you stay in a space that you can leverage other knowledge you have to do that. So that's why it's possible. Somebody with, I used to surprise somebody graduating in the US and they say they are graduating with 4 degrees. What's happening? And I went to study and I realized that what happened is this: you can use other experience you have. Like when I was going to do my MBA, they said because I didn't have the business degree, I have to do the full one. But those people with business degree, they did fast track. They accounted all their business degree courses to them. So instead of them doing 20 courses, they did 12. I have to do 20 courses. That is the way to use wisdom in optionality. Options are still there, but you are doing it within the same sphere so that one skill can collaborate the other. But again, that does not undermine the fact that you must give yourself options. Options might be like you're an engineer, do PMP so that you become an engineer that can do project management. You are not becoming jack of all trades. You are consolidating on your role as an engineer, or you are already a project manager, managing a lot of engineering courses. Why don't you do your PNG so that you become a registered engineer? You are giving yourself a lot of options, right? And you are becoming subject matter, and that is for options we are talking about here. I'm not saying you should just, now I'm an engineer, oh, I want to be a doctor, or I want to be this. No. So, of course, business also, all those things. That's what I'm talking about, giving yourself options. Thank you. Any other question? So we have about 2 more minutes. Or insight or something idea you want to share with us, something you just think you want us to, we need to know here. Please, we have a lot of people on this call. Let's engage. Engage. Are you guys hearing me okay though? Right. What's that? Okay. Do you say if you have a PMP certification, you can register to? No. It was just an example. If you are an engineer, you have engineering degree, you are working with engineers or in an engineering firm, and you are doing project management, for example, you can work towards becoming a registered engineer as well. That is options. Because number one, not only will it make you earn better, it gives you option. If they say, okay, there might be some role, they say, okay, there's a project management role, but we want the person, which is common in my industry. Most engineering projects, they want the people that will be the project manager to have PNG. So what we are saying that you're giving yourself options. Otherwise, if you don't have PNG, you can only manage as much. You're limited in options. Many of you in that field, you will know that you are limited yourself. You are limited in the kind of job you can do. That's what I'm talking about. Equip with the tools to become more resilient in the face of adversity. Okay, yeah. That's any other question? Okay. So in the absence of no other question, I really want to thank you for listening to me all along. It's been about exactly our time, 1 hour, 30 minutes. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Go again and watch this, and please, on the comment, put feedback, and I want to encourage you, if there's anything you think MCAP can do better, please send message to the email address I was showing the other time, things we can do. And if you want to partner with us, you want to be a volunteer, please let me know. I'm looking for volunteers, people that really want to help us. Right? Thank you so much. I love you all, and thank you for your time today, and God bless you all. From everyone in MCAP, I want to say thank you for spending your afternoon on your weekend with us. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. I believe you've been blessed. Go and become anti-fragile. Stop seeing problem setbacks as against you. See them, they are for you, and make the most out of it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye.